Raven episode Boys in Commotion, Raven gets a lifetime opportunity of hanging out with her favorite band, Boys in Motion. Raven gets her family to house them, while also getting to keep the boys safe from more unstable fans, unlike herself, obviously. She overly coddles them into quitting music, but shows up at the last second to save the school's performance for charity or something. I don't really remember how the episode went. But point being, Raven was feeling herself, classmates swarming her for any crumbs about the boys, but she was acting real cool for school on her high horse about having a close and personal access to her favorite band. Let's be real, if we were put in Raven's position and with our favorite artists living under our roof, I'd be waiting on them hand and foot too. Not gonna lie, asses will be kissed. Now imagine I'm Raven and Boys in Motion was Imagine Dragons. It's time to begin, because gosh darn it, I'm tired of seeing the amount of unreasonable hate the best band in the entire galaxy gets. So take a drive with me as I info dump for about, 15-20 minutes about why I utterly adore Imagine Dragons and how everyone else is wrong! Now, everyone is entitled to their opinions when it comes to music, but I've been hearing some lies about my goats for literal years, denying their swag, dragging their names in the mud, and for what? To join a hate bandwagon that started with mindlessly hating Nickelback, which were also a pretty decent band, might I add. The hate is honestly ridiculous when Imagine Dragons are genuinely spectacular, because not only do their songs make me swing my feet in the air and feel good, but the artists behind the music seem to be pretty chill people too. In the least parasocial way possible, I can explain it. The band originally started in 2008 with Andrew Tolman on drums, Andrew Beck lead guitar, Dave Lemek on bass, Aurora Florence on piano, and my goat, Dan Reynolds, as the lead vocalist. Such humble beginnings playing small-time gigs in their home of Nevada. And yes, it's Nevada, not Nevada. I see you all out there. Fun fact, Imagine Dragons music is so percussion heavy because it was the only way for their performances to be heard over the slot machines while playing in casinos. Over the years, members of the bands have changed out either due to personal reasons or retiring to enjoy life. Now the main members of Imagine Dragons are Wayne Sermon on guitar, lead bassist Ben McKee, and my goat, Dan Reynolds, still giving his all on vocals, whom, might I just add just a little dick riding here, has an amazing vocal range, like from a soft, sombersome song like Tide to shouting at the top of his lungs to emphasize the message of dull knives. Good God, the breath control on this man needs to be studied. You can really tell Dan is giving it his all in every performance, especially during live concerts. I don't usually like listening to artists live because the studio recorded versions heavily manipulate their voices, thus sounding jarring on stage to me. Sorry, Beyonce, but you sound a lot better in my ears via the studio. But Dan Reynolds, he is the exception. Despite the band going through internal changes throughout the years, it just makes their music all the more transformative and adaptable. Imagine Dragons, not just as a band, but my fellow Nevadans, means the world to me. That my desert bowl of a state was able to produce people so genuine, so kind, so thoughtful, so humble, so me. It almost makes up for the fact that we rank 45th in education, meanwhile Florida is at...
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
So, knowing why Imagine Dragons means so much to me, and probably many others, it makes me wonder, why the hate? I could never understand why a band so righteous that they could break through the Door Lord's door is so overhated. If you don't like their music, that's fine, I guess. I mean, if you're lame and you hate puppies and kittens, I guess. But to just hate for the sake of hating is so stupid, because I see such faithless takes all the time about the band that just puts me in a tizzy. Like, what do you mean they're overly commercialized? They're a band that doesn't rely on heavy swears and have relatively positive and uplifting music about life. At most, there might be a damn or a hell, but their music would be better suited for global commercials anyway because they don't have to be censored as much. However, I can understand it can be annoying constantly hearing the same 5 songs on the radio. I went to Level Up Expo recently, and oh my gosh, I was exposed non-stop on every godforsaken station. They were playing Doce's Anxiety, and oh my goodness, I just can't stand the song right now. Literally, on every fucking station, there it was. I couldn't escape it, and my brain kept tricking me that like, oh, another song's gonna be playing of a similar instrumental. Nope, no. It was just Anxiety all over again, and So I can imagine how terrible it is to be in a constant present of a song despite having a great message made by a genuine artist, but with repetitive lyrics that gets drilled into your brain. What do you mean they have bland, vague songs? Wrong answer, forehead. You could honestly make the same argument for literally any piece of music from an artist because it's wrapped in metaphors that could apply to you or your situations. Or maybe have your OCs battle it out. And literally when I listen to Imagine Dragons, I have my little me imagining my OCs music video. And when I also listen to Imagine Dragons, I wish I could just host a little book club just discussing how the song reached out to people or the imagery of what they pulled from it. The song encourages human connections and feelings and discussions. You know, unless you're Taylor Swift, whose discography is 90% men ain't shit songs and 10% female empowerment. Some songs will have deeper meaning than others, like I Wish, Dream, and All Eyes, while others can just be mindless fun, like Tokyo, Hopeless Opus, and Machine. What's wrong with just having songs that are just mindless fun, huh? Do y'all just hate fun? No fun allowed here, I guess? You can either derive meaning or dismiss these songs, but at the end of the day, how they make you feel is what matters most, even if you felt nothing. What do you mean they're Zionists? Okay, I did do some digging beyond reading a newspaper headline or going along with what a gimmick account said online, and I found out that, yes, Imagine Dragons did host concerts in Israel recently. I think that was in 2023. But, and I cannot fucking stress this enough, not in support of the Israeli government. Quite the opposite, actually. Like actual non-Zionists. The band simply did not want to disappoint their fans and expressed that the fault of the government should not be punished by people's enjoyments of their music. Granted, not the smartest decision to perform in Israel with all that's been happening to Palestine, especially considering that they did skip Russia in support of Ukraine a couple of years earlier, going as far as working closely with the president of Ukraine to raise funds and awareness for the country. So, with all that in mind, it is baffling for them to play in Israel and should be criticized for it, but I still stand 10 toes down that it does not make them Zionists. And we should really stop throwing words around like a gotcha just to throw petty hate at people you already don't like, because this is the actual definition of what a Zionist is, and I strongly believe that the band does not fit this description at all. Although you could be critical that Daniel Platzman, the drummer at the time they played in Israel with them, is Jewish, but is no longer part of the band as of 2024 because he wanted to focus on his career as a filmmaker. So, do with that information as you will. Just think more critically and actually read these articles beyond the headlines. Support Palestine. What do you mean they don't have a consistent sound and they don't sound the same? Both contradictory statements I've heard towards Imagine Dragons is that their music either sounds too similar or they're not consistent. Heaven forbid that an alternative rock and electro pop band experiment with their sounds. You know, by doing so, that makes their music even more accessible to a wider audience because Imagine Dragons has songs just for about anyone in any mood you could be in. You need to calm down? Listen to Drive. You mad? Listen to Hear Me. You feeling paranoid that everyone around you doesn't have your best interest at heart and just wanting to abandon you and hurt you? Listen to Gold. I'd argue if people were more willing to listen to their other songs off of their 8 studio albums, plus even their earliest songs and albums, that you'll find plenty of songs that sound unique on their own. I've even turned on some of my friends who are also kind of sick of me talking about it to a few songs of their own. I'm gonna fuck up their Spotify rap this year. Even if the band is not your jam, I promise you, you will find at least one song you will like. I ran a poll earlier this week asking my community, how do you feel about Imagine Dragons' sound? Whether they sound all the same or if they sound unique. With over 1,000 votes at the time of writing the script, 84% agreed that some of their songs sound similar while others are unique, while 13% said that all their songs sound the same. proving my theory that people who tend to say that Imagine Dragons all sound the same have not listened to any other songs outside of the ones commonly played on either the radio or grocery stores. Most people know them for Bones, Natural, Radioactive, Demons, Thunder, and thanks to Arcane, Enemy. Which, admittedly, those songs have similarities instrumentally and their energy, but to me, they don't sound that much alike. I also got a comment under that poll that gave me a lot to consider. While I do agree that Thunder doesn't sound anything like Radioactive, I heavily disagree that Believer is just Radioactive 2.0. Because Believer has its iconic numbering system throughout the song that builds towards the chorus, and it starts with a heavy front beat. And the way the acoustic guitar is plucked, I mistake it for a harp. It's so awesome. Believer also has a faster tempo compared to Radioactive, which doesn't start until about 30 seconds into the actual song. It lulls you in with the strum of a guitar and chanting, almost like you're being faintly called for a ceremonial sacrifice. Plus, the breath. If you've heard the song, you know damn well what I'm talking about here. I don't know anyone, casual or diehard, that doesn't do the breath when Radioactive plays. I'm talking... Yeah, that's that mental note. That's that mental vocal stem in the song that sticks with ya, baby. Which is why I disagree that Believer is Radioactive 2.0. I also have to disagree that Thunder is Demons 2.0 or even It's Time 3.0. Thunder has a much slower pace compared to Demons or It's Time, and the chorus, which has been memed to death, which also makes it its own sound. While Demons has a similar lull beginning as Radioactive does, but draws you in with a beautiful piano melody and smacks you with the drums at the height of the song, as for It's Time, its most distinctive instrument is the strings. It kind of sounds like a mandolin or like that thing that Kate carries around under her back. Plus, the start of the song feels like a crowd clapping and cheering, hyping you up. It's such a feel-good song, man. The very song that resonated with a young Tyler Robinson, who unfortunately passed from pediatric cancer. 2023, Imagine Dragons established a charity in his name to support more families and friends affected by pediatric cancer. I'll leave the link below. Now, come here, sit your ass down, because I gotta put y'all on some of their underrated songs that don't sound too similar. Now, bear with me, I don't know how to really describe music aside from how it makes me feel and gives me like googly googlies, and obviously I'd get hit massively with a copyright claim for even daring to play a single chord of their music. So bear with me. Boomerang sounds very nice. It has such a pleasant vocals to it from Dan that most people don't expect because they're used to him shouting. Love of Mine has some awesome guitar riffs. The song feels like something out of the 70s or 80s rock. I don't know what it is, but I freaking love it, and the lyrics are so much fun. I Don't Mind was one of their earliest songs, and it's still a freaking banger. The keyboard and vocals sounded heavenly, especially when Imagine Dragons had Brittany Tolman as a backup vocalist for a short while. And the ending riff just feels like they're a startup band playing in their like garage or something until their hearts condense into the very dramatic end. No Time for Toxic People is just that, a song about looking on the bright side of life and avoiding all the ugliness that could turn your smile upside down. I love how blunt and unapologetic it is because it's such a correct vibe to have about life. Bubble has a fun and energetic instrumental, feels like I'm in a trance or tripping on LSD. Either way, it's a very fun, bouncy, uplifting song I just can't get enough of. Rise Up has some amazing vocal range from Dan and is exactly the song to listen to start your day. They Don't Know You Like I Do is about Dan Reynolds' socially self-sacrificial friend that put others' needs above his own, committing suicide. And the song explores Dan's grief about not being there for his friend and the fear of his friend's good name being badmouthed. Has some great instrumentals and feels like a choir singing in church during a service. Walking the Wire gives a anime pro tag vibes that achieving the impossible is something to have fun with. I just love the electric guitar and the beats in this song. Cool Out is a super chill, slower paced song. Definitely the song to zone out to while either high or you're just going through the motion because those synthesizers hit different. And the piano, oh my gosh, if that's more of your speed, I highly recommend it. Number 1 hits different in these trying times of adulthood, but I love the strings and the chorus-esque sounds from it. It just feels like a song you'd play while at your lowest until remembering, oh yeah, I'm that nigga, I'm that bitch, I still got this. Cutthroat is a banger. This is the song I play when I'm preying on niggas' downfalls. And the piano feels so aggressive, I love it. Got me in my villain arc. A majority of the Smoke and Mirrors album harkens to their rock era, so if you're wanting to hear more of their rock music, I'd recommend that album. But their most experimental instrumental album is Mercury Acts 1 and 2. Hands down, every song in there is a fucking banger that will either leaving you walking on cloud 9, paranoid, grateful for life, or just depressed. There is no in between, but they're so unique and distinctive. I love this album so much. Came to me at a very poignant time in my life, so very, very deep and personal album to me. And also very deep and personal album to Dan Reynolds, who's also lost a loved one during this time, but we don't need to go into that. We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to trauma dump in VC right now. I've actually made 4 playlists based on the shared themes of all their available songs on Spotify. I know, damn you, Ready Ape Fire's not there. Lost Cause, oh, how I love that freaking song. I wish more of their music was on Spotify, but alas. Gotta work with what we have. But I'll leave them all linked in the description. And hey, feel free to make your own playlists and tell me how you categorize their music in the comments below. Because I organize them by themes of adulting, like maturing and such, emotional, something that makes me either feel so happy or just sad and just gets in the mood. Angst, I'm talking more of the rock-esque music that makes me headbang, and songs that specifically hype me up. Now here's some charts I've made of the playlist percentage based on songs from each album, and a few of their singles as well from some movies and collabs. I love charts. Now granted, somehow, I don't know why, but most of their music might not resonate with people, and I've had my own personal gripes with them. I've had a few of them I just had to give a good re-listening to just to finally get it. West Coast from the Origins album can be meh at times to me. I don't hate it, but I can so easily zone out to it, and by the time that it's over, I didn't even realize it. It's a good song to zone out and lock in with though, because the acoustic guitar is so pleasant to listen to. It's giving country music vibes. Then there's songs that just have to be in the right mood to listen to. I just can't turn on Dancing in the Dark. Nah, I gotta be in my feels. I gotta want to stare into the void and slowly and steadily just lose myself and make me feel like I'm in the great dark beyond. Pantomime was another one of their earliest songs I just have to mentally prepare to listen to because, while it's groovy, it also has an erratic melody that distracts me with the guitar. Burnout gets too real that I can't listen to it all the time, but I love it so much because it gets so real. I'd say Imagine Dragons' only song that I can't really mesh with as well is I Don't Know Why from the Evolve album, because it's such a nothing burger. All they're saying is something is going down, they don't know what it is, but it has something to do with you. Me? Nigga, what did I do? I'm just trying to vibe. Again, not a bad song per se. It's just less hype for me. Personally, I could be here all day talking about Imagine Dragons songs and just ranking them and describing how they each makes me feel, but no one wants that, unless... Nah, y'all ain't ready for that level of autism. For now, let's move on to ranking the albums. So I found this tier list for all 7 of their main albums that were released. Unfortunately, it doesn't include Reflections, but since that was a collection of unreleased demos during Smoke and Mirrors, I'm just not gonna count it. Nor am I including the chopped up albums that are a mixture of Night Visions and Hell in Silence EPs. Nah, I'll save those for the eventual song ranking video that I may or may not do, with enough encouragement. Anyway, cut to me ranking these albums live and unscripted as I struggle to pick my favorite babies. Let's go! Okay, going to start ranking the albums, semi-live here. Ooh, starting with Night Visions. Okay, this came out, I believe 2012, and I was like in high school. I remember that's when I discovered Imagine Dragons. During my formative high school years, during summer, I just turned it on. I don't know how, but I just was drawn to them. I don't really remember how I came across their music, but Night Visions will always be a nostalgic album to me. This is gonna be really hard because I don't really consider any of these albums bad because they're all so good. They all have something good in them or just something memorable within it, but like they can't all be S rank. I will explain and defend what is my S rank, but Night Visions will always hold a very special core memory in my life. And at that point, it's just nostalgia, but nostalgia bias aside, I would formatively put it in... It's gonna be a B. Not a B because I don't like it. I do like it, but I don't really visit it or its songs as much compared to the other albums. It's still my favorite. It's still my babe. I still love it though. Very formative years of my life. I remember watching GarageBand, doing homework at my grandmother's, and then just playing Imagine Dragons in the background of it all. Oh. Okay. Smoke and Mirrors. I will say I was not feeling it at first, but it kind of grew on me. But it has this is more, like I mentioned in the video, a little bit more of the rock-centric songs, but also kind of some of the slow ones. This one I don't really pick and choose from a whole lot now that I find it. Smoke and Mirrors, I can confidently say is a C. Yeah, Smoke and Mirrors is confident C for me. Still love it, but it's not as much in my rotation as it is these days. Some select songs I revisit a few times. I like Gold. I like Gold. I like I'm So Sorry. I like Shots. It's just one of those albums I have to be in the mood to listen to. Now, Origins, I feel is a very underrated album because Evolve. Evolve would be next. Personally, I think Evolve is a bit overrated album for them. I think it's the Thunder. Everyone knows Thunder, so everyone knows Evolve, but Evolve has where all their hype techno music stems from, and I think where they keep getting the reputation of being a pop band. They're a mixture of genres. They're a mix, but this is definitely their more techno poppy. So many good songs from here I do like, but it has, I don't know why, kind of dragging it down. Like there's some good there's some goodies in here, but then there's Start Over, Dancing in the Dark. I don't know why. But then again, there's Believer, Walking the Wire, Rise Up, I'll Make It Up to You. So sweet. You know what? Comfortable B. Right next to Night Visions. And I'm not doing that thing where you rank, where it's, oh, this is going to be my B, but this is a higher B than this B. No, nah, they're both Bs. I don't care. They're all Bs. They're both Bs to me. I still like them. Origins, though. Been really getting back into Origins. Very underrated album of Imagine Dragons, I will say. A bit more slow-paced, cooler down songs, I'd say. A lot of one-word titles in here. But just so good. I got Natural, you got Boomerang, you got Cool Out. Very underrated album. And I even ran a couple of polls asking my community which album is like up there for them. Origins, to my surprise, ranked lower of their like late 2010s. So I'm gonna put Origins in A. This is my A. Okay, now we're getting a little too deep and personal. There's Mercury, Acts 1, and Acts 2. Act 1 came out before Act 2, about 2021 and then 2022. They're typically put together as a full album, but I'll rank them individually here for the case of splitting hairs. Act 1, some really good solid songs in here, I will say. It's definitely up there for an A for me. Yeah, Act 1's an A for me. While Act 2 gets a bit more in that knit and grit. I have all these songs on my rotation. I'm always listening to Blur. I'm always listening to Higher Ground. Crushed. Oh, Take It Easy is like my anxiety reducing song for me. Sirens. Oh my god, I love Younger. The second half of the album. I love Acts 1 and 2 together. But if I had to pick between Acts 1 or 2, Act 2, S. That is S for me. Came out of a very prominent time of my life, and also Dan Reynolds' life, where coming to terms with grief in the loss of a loved one. So yeah, very personal album to me. A lot of the songs in there just really spoke to me at a time where I needed it most. So that is my high S. That is my baby. Alright, as of 2024, their latest release album, Loom. Not as many songs on here compared to the other albums. There's just about 10. I mean, if you want, including Eyes Closed again with a feature with J Balvin. Not a bad feature. Some good songs on here. I like them. Eyes Closed, Wake Up, I love it. I love Eyes Closed. I love Wake Up. It just brings me back. I don't know where it brings me, but it just brings me back somewhere. Perhaps a little nostalgia for Night Visions, well, in the mix of having Evolve and Origins, but they're all in there somewhere. Been finding myself a lot of these songs on a bit heavier rotation in my Spotify, so A feels right. I've been liking Loom a lot lately, but I don't think it's up there just yet with Mercury Act 2. It's definitely an album I've been having on rotation a lot lately because I do love a lot of the songs on there, but Mercury Act 2 was just, it was there for me when I needed it most. So that is my S. And this is my ranking of all the Imagine Dragon albums, not including any of the chopped up EPs from Hell and Silence. Although I will say, if there was Hell and Silence on here, I'd probably put it right here next to Night Visions. Another nostalgic album for me, because that was literally one of the first and earliest albums. And as for Reflections, I'd actually kind of would put Reflections, since it came from the vault of Smoke and Mirrors, either a C or a D, derogatory D. It's okay. I can see why some of these were kept in the draft. Some of them are becoming little earworms in my head now, like in my car, oh, in my car, let's go, my time is critical, in my car, oh, in my car. Yeah, that's starting to get in my head. I like that, actually. So if I had to, that would be D. I don't like all the songs on there. There are gonna be a few more repeats than others, but I love A&pi on that album. It's like No Time for Toxic People, what I need to hear. Yeah, that Reflections demo would be a D for me then. But that is my official ranking of Imagine Dragon albums. This wasn't as hard as I thought. This was a good thought experiment. I'll take it back away to me. Through the making of this video, I think I found the true answer as to why Imagine Dragons is overhated beyond a matter of opinion when it comes to music. It's because they're authentic, genuine, and unapologetically themselves. They sing about love, loss, loyalty, success, and how that feels damaging at times, but worth it if it means bringing joy to someone or moving them to the point of tears. They are truly the embodiment of an artist, a tragic, tortured soul of an artist. They've built a community that's a safe space for everyone. Search any of their songs on YouTube. The comment section is filled with love and understanding, and some people oversharing to a certain degree. But it's so pure, it's so joyful. Imagine Dragons has some of the most wholesome fan base, and please correct me if I'm wrong, they've done no wrongs. You know, unlike from what you hear or see about some certain K-pop group fans that can get out of hand, or certain Swifties, this fan base is so wholesome. They really just vibing in the corner, being autistic, and I love it. But the fans are punished and ridiculed for appreciating such a down-to-earth band. I think the real people that don't like Imagine Dragons are the ones that haven't truly listened to them, or just cynics that hate others enjoying life on some nigga that I just catch you having fun type shit. Because, well, it's so easy to focus on the negatives in life. Imagine Dragons reminds us to cherish the little moments, find our joy, and to not let others ruin our fun. Because imagine hating a band that thrives for safe spaces, that deeply care about their fans, show support towards LGBTQ+ communities and charities, and so on and so forth. A band so genuine that they're aware of their public image, and unreasonable hate that it bothers them personally when people take their hate of the band onto the fans. They don't mind being hated, they just don't want their fans to be bullied for liking them. Mind-blowing. Anyway, that's my piece. Imagine Dragons is amazing, means the world to me, and wishing them nothing but the best so they can continue doing what they love and bringing joy to millions of other fans. And if you feel the same way, let me hear you in the comments. Spread the fire breather love and propaganda. And for the haters out there, tell me, did I make you into a believer? Believer?